Hi everyone, I'm Carla, and you probably know me better as Carla Not a Robot on Twitter, and I am here to present Scrimba's JavaScriptmas Final Challenge of 2020. So we're actually going to walk through the solution here, so if you haven't seen the challenge already though, here it is. We are going to make a test your agility game. So this is kind of like what you would see in an arcade where you have a target number and you need to stop the wheel right at the correct number. And if you're off, you need to tell the player how much they're off by. I did leave you part of the project already done. So all you need to do is fill in the spin and stop functions. I also left some hints specifically to use the sleep function that already exists and to display the numbers with .inner HTML. Keep it nice and simple. And not to forget that the push variable is globally defined, and that is what we want to trigger the stop function. So if you haven't completed this challenge already, I recommend going to Scrimba.com and signing up for the JavaScriptmas challenge, clicking on the code and sharing it with the world because you have a chance to win $1,000. So let's get started. So here we have our index.js. Oops. In our HTML file, we can see that just pretty basic. We have a target number, we have the spinning wheel number, and we have the result number. So if I run this, nothing's going to happen. There we go. Because we do not have those functions defined. Actually, just had to refresh. So we already have this function defined. We need to do a spinning wheel, and we need to determine what happens when the stop button is clicked. So we're going to go to the index. So we see globally, push is going to be false until the stop button is clicked. And we have our target integer. This is that. And the spinning element is the document get element by ID for the spinning wheel integer, which should live right there. And we have a listener set up for the button. When the button is pressed, we change push to true. And we just have a quick function here to set the target integer, and it's just doing a floor math random from 0 to 100. Doesn't have to be 100, you can change it to whatever you'd like. And then it displays it. We have our sleep function. You pass in how many milliseconds you want. I would not recommend going really below 50. 75 seems more reasonable. Once you get below 50, you can't see what you're doing. So let's get started. So I'm going to keep this, but I'm just going to paste those right where I need them. So there are quite a few different ways you could do this. I'm just going to do this as a for loop, and I'm going to put conditionals inside of it. So we're going to do for I equals 0, I is less than 101 because we want our maximum number to be 100, I plus plus. And the first thing we want to say is if the number, if I equals 100, we want it to go back to 0 because we want it to go all the way up to 100 and then start over again so that it can loop through or cycle through multiple wheel spins. So I'm going to do if I equals 0, if I equals 100, then I is going to be equal to 0. What we're going to want to do is put a conditional, like if the button is pressed, then we want to stop everything. So we're going to put another conditional. So if pushed equals true, and remember push is what happens when you click stop, we are going to stop. This is how we're going to display the results. It's going to be in the stop function that we'll do in just a moment here. And we are going to break the loop. And if not, we want to just display the integer. So we're going to spinning element dot inner HTML, and we're going to assign that to I, and then we are going to sleep for 75 milliseconds. Paste that there. So I actually wrote it in that function there, so we can actually get rid of this. All right, so when we click play now, we can see that the incrementer is incrementing and the wheel is spinning, but nothing will happen when we stop because, well, it'll stop, but we aren't displaying any results. So now we want to display the results. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a variable called offBy, and it's going to calculate how off the user was. So what I've done here is I'm taking the absolute value, so the positive value of our target integer minus I minus 1. We're doing I minus 1 because if not, it's an inclusive value. So if you did 97 minus 2, you would get a value of 96 instead of 95 because it's inclusive. So now we are going to determine if the user wins or not. So actually, we're going to keep the results. The result is just the HTML element that's going to live down there. So we're going to say if offBy equals 0, we know the user has won. So if we're going to say the message is equal to you win. Actually, I have to also create a variable here for a message, and this is just going to be what we display. And then if it's not 0, we are going to make message equal, oh no, you lose by, and we're going to add this to string. Now we want to have it display in our result element. So our result is going to be equal to that message. Awesome. Let's run it. And let's try to stop it. Oh no! And yep, 69 is the correct number. Well, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this challenge, and there are probably 20 different ways you can solve this, so if you didn't solve it the way I did and it works, congratulations. If you still have some free time on your hands, definitely some stretch goals you can work on is making this look nicer. I really did nothing to this other than centering it. And have a happy holiday.